Hello and welcome. My name's James Harrington and today we're previewing Matchday 21 in La Liga. If you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you do enjoy the episode, hit that thumbs up. Well, let's crack on with the preview. Okay, so let's recap the table after Matchday 20. Atletico Madrid cement themselves at the top of the table after a 3-1 home win versus Valencia. Coming from behind when in the 10th minute, Rakitic scored a goal of the season contender. Sevilla climbed to the Champions League spot after En-Nesyri got his second hat-trick of the month with a 3-0 win over Cadiz. Athletic Club climbed to 9th after a 5-1 victory v Getafe, conceding the first minute but then to romp the second half. Osasuna climbed out the relegation zone to 17th after a 3-1 win versus Granada. Finally, still at the bottom of the table is Huesca, with Pacheta getting his first point on the board as the new manager with a draw versus Villarreal. Before fully delving into Matchday 21, I just want to quickly talk about my previous preview, which was dubbed the Relegation Royale. Now, who came out on top in the Relegation Royale on Matchday 19 and Matchday 20? Well, there were two teams for me, one being Valladolid and the other one being Osasuna. Now, firstly, Valladolid. They played Elche, they got a 2-2 draw, coming back from 2-0 down. And then they got a second 2-2 draw against Levante. For me, the more important result of the two was the Elche game, because in the first half they were quite poor. Jose, the Elche fullback, got 2 goals, and then in the second half, Elche tried to protect their lead, which was a mistake by Almiron, but there's clearly a lot of metal to the Valladolid team to get it level. Then we go to Osasuna. Now, Osasuna got a 1-1 draw with Valencia on Matchday 19, a result I hadn't expected, but the bigger result was Matchday 20, where they won 3-1 against Granada. Now this is a really big game because Granada are chasing European football, and I believe Osasuna were winless in 13 games, so it was a fantastic result. So we've had the biggest winners. Who are the biggest losers? For me, it had to be Alaves. Matchday 20 was their centenary, a cause for celebration. What happens? They lose 4-1 to Real Madrid. Now the defeat isn't surprising, I think it's the manner of the defeat that is most surprising. Real Madrid were totally dominant throughout. Even Eden Hazard got a king of the match performance. When Abelardo Fernandez came in charge, he was seen as a safe pair of hands. But since he's become their manager once again, they've been knocked out of the Copa del Rey, 5-0 to Segunda Division side Almeria. They lose to Sevilla, and then they get thumped by Real Madrid. I think the remedy for Alaves' situation is getting Lucas Perez and Joselu playing together again. Last season, both strikers got 11 goals each. This season, they both got 4. If Abelardo is going to have any chance of saving Alaves, playing those two together, I think is the solution. Okay, well, you're here to hear about Matchday 21, so let's start the preview. First game I want to talk about is Villarreal versus Real Sociedad. Two teams that are out of sorts. Now, Villarreal are coming off the back of what was a drab 0-0 draw versus Huesca. No real big chances that happened and nothing to really talk about. But one thing that is worrying Villarreal fans is the tactical merry-go-round happening at Villarreal at the moment. In that match, they played I think it was a 3-4-3. Prior to that game, it was a 4-3-3. And in the Cup, it was a 4-4-2. If I was Unai Emery, I would stick to the 4-3-3. It brought him great success this season, most notably recently against Celta Vigo. Celta Vigo at the time were in red-hot form. They play Villarreal, they lose 4-0. If I was Emery, stick to the 4-3-3. But also another concern for Villarreal fans, it's probably the injury worries. Now, you can't always hide behind injury concerns as the reason why there's been a dip in form, but they've lost Moreno. Now, Moreno's not only Villarreal's top goal scorer, he's a crucial cog in the machine. He links the midfield to the attack, he has the ability to play out wide, come in centre, and he just offers so much more than just goals. Adding to that, they've got Chukwueze who's out, Juan Foyth, and long-term absentees like Iborra. Now, fortunately for Villarreal going into this game, they are undefeated at home this season. And let's hope for them they can keep the Estadio de la Cerámica as a fortress for this game. Let's talk about their opponents, Real Sociedad. Now, they've just come off the back of a 2-2 draw with Real Betis, which was a really bad result, considering they were 2-0 up. Gorosabo had a chance to make it 3-0. However, Joaquin was the difference, and in the final 10 minutes he gave an assist and he got a goal to draw it level for Betis. Now, whilst this was a disappointing result and has meant that Real Sociedad have yet to win in the league in the month of January, there were some positives. The three positives for me were 1. John Garidi. Now, John Garidi's come into the side with David Silva out injured. Now, whilst they're two very different players, David Silva is more of a creative, flair, nice pass type of player. Garidi is a more box-to-box player. He's been able to fill the shoes of David Silva and is clearly, whilst he was on loan last year, able to make it in the first team. Secondly, Alexander Isak. Now, in a previous video I talked about how Real Sociedad needed to choose between William Jose and Alex Isak. Due to the fact they were constantly rotating, I didn't think that was right for Real Sociedad. Now Jose's gone to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Isak in that game got an assist and a goal, and I think they made the right choice. The third positive wasn't about the game itself, something that has become more noticeable about who's featuring their squad and in the Copa del Rey, was the fact that Illarramendi and Estadio are now back in contention. Both very important for the defensive aspect of Real Sociedad. If you look at the games like the match against Sevilla, which was really exciting, 3-2 defeat unfortunately, and the game against Betis, it's their defence that's let them down. I don't blame him, but Zubudia is a midfielder. He shouldn't be playing at centre-back. So having Estadio back should do a world of good for Imanol. Unfortunately for Imanol and Real Sociedad, like Emery, they've been playing on all fronts this season. The Copa del Rey, the Supercopa, La Liga, in Europe. And as the season's gone on, they seem to be more tired and the results aren't going their way. Now, what does this mean for my predictions? I'm predicting a 1-1 draw. The same result as they got back in November when I think it was Oyarzabal and Moreno got the goals. But I think with Villarreal being undefeated at home and Real Sociedad being slightly out of sorts, this is the result that both teams can probably live with. The next game to talk about had to be Barcelona versus Athletic Club. A replay of the Supercopa where Athletic Club came out on top. Let's firstly talk about Barcelona. They're in some good form at the moment in the league. They've just come off a 2-0 win versus Elche with Frankie de Jong and Ricky Puig getting the goals. But let's focus in on Frankie de Jong because everyone is talking about him at the moment. Game by game he's becoming more important to Barcelona. His vision, versatility, defensive nous and attacking potential. Opta did a stat where I believe in the 1.5 seasons he's been at Barcelona, he's got 5 goals, which is more than the entirety of his 4 years at Ajax. 4 years, he got 4 goals. Also, there's a really interesting stat about Frankie de Jong in terms of defensive ability. He's the 3rd at the club for recoveries of the ball. And then also he is 2nd in terms of assists. I think those are the stats. But Frankie de Jong is an important part of Koeman's plan and hopefully can lift the reliance on the likes of Messi. Now, whilst there are these positives, there are some questions still to be asked of Koeman's side, and it mainly is in the defensive department. That's where it's been all season, really. Koeman, after the game against Elche, came out and thanked ter Stegen for getting them out of a tight spot once again. After a defensive mistake, it meant Rigoni of Elche was through, and ter Stegen had to put off a world-class save before it drew level to 1-1. Now, since the absence of Piqué, they've rotated between the likes of Araujo, Umtiti, Longley, and Mingueza. If I was Koeman, who would I pick? Probably go with Araujo because I think there's another stat out there that he hasn't been dribbled past in 10 games. And I would go with Umtiti because I recognise he's getting back to fitness, but he's one of the best ball-playing centre-halves in the league. Other welcome things for Koeman going into this fixture, I think there's a clear sign of harmony at Barcelona, with the likes of Ricky Puig getting the goal and the embrace he got from his fellow teammates shows there's not maybe as such a poisonous relationship as was touted in the media before Christmas. And also Messi's back, and that's great news in any regards. After serving a suspension for his red card in the Supercopa, his first red card in his career, hopefully Barcelona will be able to avenge the Supercopa defeat. Let's talk about Athletic Club, the Supercopa champions. Now they're coming off the back of what was a really great result on Monday night, 5-1 win versus Getafe. Now Getafe took the lead in the first minute with Cucurella, but then it was all Athletic Club. with Real Garcia getting a brace. Actually, this game marked a... Getafe hadn't lost to Athletic Club in 8 matches, so it's an important statistical result. But what this game really represented was Athletic Club going to the next level. That was the whole point of bringing in Marcelino. Gaika Garitano was very conservative, played a 4-2-3-1. But since Marcelino's been in charge, they switched to a 4-4-2. And I think actually having 2 strikers up top is doing the rest of the team a world of good. One player in particular, Munayin. Munayin has got 5 assists in 3 matches. And I think he welcomes the fact that he can now provide for 2 very different players. Inaki Williams, pace. Raul Garcia, more of a target man. And actually in the last match between Barcelona and Athletic Club, which was Marcelino's first game in charge, Munayin got a goal. Look, after the game, Marcelino talks about how the players are the main characters in this story, and I really think he's downplaying how much of importance he is having. It'd be really interesting in a few weeks after a few more games under his belt how we can compare the stats of the team under Garitano to Marcelino. Now this game in particular, what is my predictions? I think it's going to be a really interesting one because Barcelona have a point to prove. They've got no Busquets, I should have said that earlier, he's out with suspension. Now what do I think the result's going to be? And I think this is a very hard one to predict because Barcelona, good league form, at home, playing Athletic Club, who are very doubtful that they won't score. I think I'm going to go with a 2-1 Barcelona victory. Who knows what the result's going to be, but I think it'll be a really interesting match nevertheless. Okay, so that's my La Liga preview for Matchday 21. Comment below your predictions. If you did enjoy the video, hit that subscribe button, that notification bell, that thumbs up, all those good things. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.